So the Ravens are 5-1. There's a couple of 4-2 teams, and then the Browns sit at 3-3. Browns fans obviously a little concerned. Malik Jackson says, don't get crazy just yet.
I mean, I think it's like first third of the season, so 1/3 of the season. So I mean, it's fairly early, but we definitely need to start picking it up and get it going. But it's no need to panic. We still got things we can control. Things are still in our control, so we just got to start getting things done.
And Mac Robinson, 3-3, okay, not where the Browns wanted to be. 3-4 would be really, really bad at this point.
Yeah, no, to say less than ideal is really kind of underselling it, Dave. And, especially I look at this defensive side of the ball, and I guess for me, it's trying to see that progression from week to week to week. We saw that on the offensive end last year where, it might have been against lesser opponents, but at least you saw growth from week to week to week. And the issue that I take was, okay, week 1 against Kansas City, that's fine. Again, you're going up against Pat Mahomes. What do you expect? Then against the Texans, there were some things that you could have corrected, but overall by the end, I was feeling a little bit better about them. You still had some pieces out. Then you had back-to-back really good weeks. Again, you have the Minnesota Vikings in week 4 that you played really well against. Chicago Bears, you had 9 sacks. And then just these 2 back-to-back weeks, you've had a big setback. The last couple weeks, obviously JOK, he's now out for at least 3 games. And I look at this group, man, and I'm waiting for that kind of cohesion to kind of set in place here. And there are certain times where I wonder about the scheme, at least when it comes to Joe Woods and some of these players. They need to step up. I feel like somebody like John Johnson, he's getting picked on quite a bit. I understand he's getting paid quite a bit, and that's understandable. But at the same time, he's not necessarily being utilized correctly. When he was being utilized with the Rams, he was more so up in the box, a little bit more, a little closer to the line of scrimmage. But, where he's at now at this point, he's playing more deep safety, and that he's not really the most athletic guy. So, I don't think that necessarily focuses on his strengths quite as much. And now what I see, somebody like Grant Delpit, where he's somebody who he can take a little bit of that role, but I also wonder how much of the injury is kind of playing into that as well. So, I look across the board and I just feel like certain schemes, maybe a little bit more man coverage than zone, but then you're putting a little bit more focus on some of the linebackers, some of the front 7 at that point. So it's a tough balancing act for Joe Woods and the rest of this defense, but you got to find some cohesion here at some point, and it's got to come quick because, again, like you said, a loss on Thursday, that's going to be tough to deal with being 3-4 at that point. You're almost halfway through the year in a couple of games. You got to get this turned around as soon as possible because, 3-4, all of a sudden at that point, you got to be, 7-3 the rest of the season in order to make sure that you're getting into the postseason. It's a tough task. Especially given the injuries that you have on the other side of the ball. The defense really needs to pick it up, and that was the biggest area where I was disappointed on Sunday.